Have you ever felt like your mind is at war, even when nothing's really wrong? You wake up already anxious. A single comment ruins your entire day. You overthink every word and wonder why peace feels so far away. You're not broken. You're just overwhelmed, and you're not alone. Now imagine this. What if peace wasn't something you had to chase? What if, no matter the chaos outside, you could remain calm inside? Not because the world changed, but because you did. Not by controlling others, but by mastering one thing: your response. This is not a fantasy. It's not reserved for monks or ancient sages. It's a skill, a quiet strength, and you can build it. One breath, one decision at a time. The noise in your mind, the worry, the tension, the what-ifs, they're not your fault. They're signals that it's time to reconnect, to return to yourself, to stop letting the world decide your inner weather. In this video, I'll share with you 10 Stoic practices to reclaim your peace. Simple, practical, powerful, not meant to make you perfect, but to help you hold steady, even when everything else falls apart. But before we begin, I invite you to take one small step. Go to the comments and write, "Today, I choose peace." It's not just a phrase, it's a commitment to stop giving your power away, to remember that no matter how messy life gets, you don't have to lose yourself in the chaos. Have you written it? Then let's begin. Lesson 1. You are here and now, and that is enough. Your mind is always moving, replaying what happened, worrying about what might, trying to predict, protect, or perfect. But while it does all that, it misses the only thing that's real, this moment. You're walking but thinking about what's next. You're eating but revisiting a mistake from last week. You sit in silence, yet your mind screams. The present dissolves, becomes a hallway to the future or a shadow of the past. But the present is not a waiting room. It is the only ground you truly have. Everything else, past and future, lives only in your head. And here's something powerful. Anxiety can't live in the present. It needs projection. It feeds on what if and what then. But when you anchor yourself here, right now, there's no room for catastrophe to grow. Just your breath, your body, what you can see, touch, do in this moment. Here's a simple practice. Pause. Look around. Silently name 3 things you can see, 3 sounds you can hear, 3 sensations in your body. You've just returned from the movie in your head, from the fear that had no face, from the story that made you feel small but wasn't real. You are not your past. You are not your future. You are this breath, this heartbeat, this decision. You are here. You are alive. And even if your mind feels messy, even if you don't have all the answers, being here is already enough. And the more you practice returning to the present, the quieter the fear becomes. Not because everything is fixed, but because you've stopped living in the place where everything breaks. Lesson 2. You don't need everything to be okay to be at peace. We're taught to believe that calm only comes when everything is finally under control. No problems, no pain, no misunderstandings, no mess. But what if that day never comes? What if waiting for peace is the very thing keeping it away? Because here's the truth. Something will always be off. A deadline, a conflict, a pain in your body, a disappointment you didn't expect. If you need the world to be quiet before you can feel peace inside, you may be waiting forever. Peace is not a reward. It's not the prize at the end of a perfect day. It's not something others grant you when they finally behave the way you hope they would. It's a decision, a quiet stance, a way of being, even when life burns around you. It doesn't mean pretending you're okay. It means refusing to let chaos define your entire inner space. You can say, yes, this hurts. Yes, this worries me, but it will not take everything. I will not hand over my whole day to it. I will not forget the parts of my life that still work, that still breathe, that still deserve my attention. There are people who live in the middle of storms and still radiate serenity, not because they don't feel pain, but because they've learned not to surrender their center to what they cannot control. You can do that too. You can be heartbroken and still feel moments of gratitude. You can be anxious and still move gently. Still speak to yourself with kindness. Still breathe with care. Not everything needs to be okay for you to be okay. Not everything needs to be solved for you to exhale. That kind of peace is not a gift from the outside. It's a vow you make on the inside, to no longer collapse every time the world does. And that peace? Yes, it is possible. Lesson 3. Not every thought deserves your attention. The moment you wake up, your mind is already speaking. What if today goes badly? What if I mess it up again? What if I'm not enough? Before your feet even touch the ground, your thoughts are painting disasters, none of which have even happened. You argue with people who aren't there, rehearse situations that haven't occurred, live out worst-case scenarios that only exist in your imagination. And all of it feels urgent, like you must fix, solve, understand, right now. But here's something the Stoics knew well. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it's true. And even if it's true, doesn't mean it deserves your energy. We've been conditioned to believe that thinking more means thinking better, that if we analyze hard enough, we'll find the answer. But overthinking is not wisdom. It's often just mental noise dressed as productivity. Some thoughts are not insight, they are old patterns. They are fear in disguise. They are echoes of past pain, not signals of current truth. You can pause. You can ask, is this helpful? Is this strengthening me? Or is this just another way to self-sabotage? You are not what you think. You are what you choose to do with what you think. Picture your mind as a crowded room. You can't stop the noise, but you can choose who to listen to. Same with your thoughts. You don't have to climb into every one. You don't have to ride each anxious idea like a train you didn't mean to board. You can let them pass, like cars on the road, like clouds in the sky. You can say, there's that voice again. The one that doubts, the one that complicates, but I don't have to follow it. A self-critical thought doesn't need to be believed. An anxious thought doesn't need to be solved. It just needs to be seen, and then released. Remember those times when you spent hours worrying about something that never happened? The catastrophes that lived only in your mind? What would your life feel like if you gave your attention only to what nourishes your peace? What if you trained your mind like a muscle, strong enough to notice without reacting, to observe without obeying? That is where true calm begins, not when the thoughts stop, but when they lose their power over you. Lesson 4. If you speak harshly to yourself, your mind becomes a battlefield. Have you ever stopped to listen to the way you speak to yourself? Not out loud, but in the silence where your inner voice lives. It's that voice that shows up when you make a mistake. The one that says, you always ruin everything, you're not enough, it's all your fault. If that voice belonged to another person, would you want them near you? And yet, you hear it every day. You believe it. You carry it. You get used to it. But no mind can grow in a space of constant war. No peace can live where the first wound comes from within. This is a quiet kind of violence, one that leaves no bruises, but wears you down bit by bit. You criticize yourself while brushing your teeth. You punish yourself in your thoughts for being tired, for forgetting, for not being perfect. And all of it feels normal. The Stoics believed in discipline, but not cruelty. They practiced self-examination, but not self-destruction. They taught a firm but compassionate standard. Correct yourself without crushing yourself. Guide yourself without humiliation. Because true character is not built through punishment. It's built through steady correction, through patience, through inner respect. So ask yourself, do I speak to myself like an enemy or like a steady, kind friend? If someone you love were going through what you are, would you say to them what you say to you? Your inner dialogue creates the climate of your mind. It can be a storm or a shelter. You can talk to yourself in a way that opens space for healing, for resilience, for light to get in. Not fake positivity, but real grounded support from you to you. Words like, you're trying. This is hard, but you're still here. One bad day doesn't erase all your strength. That voice, calm, firm, human, isn't weakness. It's wisdom. And it's yours to practice. Because there is no peace if you're at war with who you are. And there is no greater freedom than becoming your own safe place. Lesson 5. Serenity begins when you stop explaining everything. Have you ever argued with yourself? For hours? One part of you wants to let go. Another keeps digging, replaying that moment, that conversation, that look, trying to find the perfect explanation. You wonder, what did I miss? Was it my fault? What could I have said differently? And before you realize it, you're on trial in your own mind, with no end in sight. But that's not reflection. That's over-explanation. That's anxiety wearing the mask of clarity. You're not seeking truth, you're seeking control. But control, when it becomes obsession, is the seed of inner turmoil. Because the truth is, life won't always give you a reason. Some people leave without closure. Some situations don't make sense. Some endings won't explain themselves. And the more you try to solve them, the further peace drifts away. The problem isn't thinking, it's not knowing when to stop. There comes a point where thinking more doesn't help. It just deepens the wound. Like scratching a healing scar, thinking you're helping it recover but only slowing it down. So if you want peace, you have to let go of the need to understand everything. You don't have to know why it happened, why they acted that way, why it ended the way it did. You just have to stop carrying it. Let the emotion pass through. Let it breathe. Let it be. Say to yourself, I don't need to keep reliving this. I don't need to invent more reasons. I need rest, not more mental weight. Because every new explanation you create from restlessness is another stone in the backpack you were meant to set down. When you explain less, you breathe more. You return to your body, to this moment, to what still matters. And in that quiet space, without all the stories, peace finally finds a way in. Lesson 6. Learn to let go of what you can't control. Have you noticed how much of your stress comes from things outside your hands? What others think of you? What might happen tomorrow? What already happened yesterday? The words you wish had been said, the actions you wish someone had taken, the expectations that fell apart. And yet, you carry them, replay them, try to fix them in your mind, as if thinking harder could rewrite the past or bend the future. But you can't. And the Stoics knew this over 2,000 years ago. Epictetus said it simply, some things are up to us and some things are not. And peace begins, real peace, when we stop confusing the two. Every time you grip something you can't actually change, you lose energy, you lose time, you lose yourself in a battle that isn't yours to win. It's like yelling at the rain to stop falling. You won't change the weather, only drown in frustration. So what can you do? Let go. Letting go isn't giving up. It's not weakness. It's not passivity. It's wisdom. It's the decision to reclaim your energy and bring it back where it belongs, to what you can actually influence, your mindset, your words, your habits, your next step. So ask yourself gently but clearly, does this depend on me? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, act on it and do it again tomorrow. And the day after that, until your mind stops clinging to every wave that passes by. Because true peace doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from knowing what's yours to hold and learning to let the rest flow through your open hands. Lesson 7. No one can give you what you don't give yourself. Maybe you're still waiting for someone to understand you, to see your worth, to offer what you've been missing. And when they don't, you feel rejected, empty, like maybe you're asking for too much. But the real issue isn't that you're asking, it's that you've forgotten you can give it to yourself. You can't build your peace on the unpredictable rhythms of others, on their timing, their moods, their ability to show up exactly how and when you need them to. They won't, not always, not perfectly, not consistently, and that's not a failure. It's a reminder. You are your first home. You are your own guardian. The Stoics called it inner autonomy, the strength to stand from within, not to shut out the world, but to stop being ruled by it. Because no relationship is stable if you've made your well-being someone else's responsibility. So pause and ask gently, what am I waiting for others to give me that I haven't yet given myself? Are you seeking recognition but never stop to honor your own efforts? Are you craving comfort but turn against yourself whenever you feel anxious or afraid? Are you desperate for security, but feed your mind a steady stream of doubt? This doesn't mean you should become isolated. It doesn't mean you no longer need anyone. It means you stop placing 100% of your emotional balance in things you don't control. It means learning to be there for yourself when the world forgets to be, to comfort yourself, to validate your own voice, to stand with yourself, especially on the hard days. You don't have to close your heart. You just have to strengthen it. Fill it from the inside, so what comes from the outside is a gift, not a lifeline. And when you do that, something shifts. You stop begging for love. You stop waiting to be rescued. You stop needing others to say what you can quietly remind yourself, I am here. I see you. I've got you. And in that moment, without applause, without noise, you reclaim something no one can take from you. A silent victory, rooted in your own care. Lesson 8. Your routine has more power than your intentions. Some days you truly mean it. You want to stay calm. You want to be present, centered, grounded. But by the evening you're tense, snapping, overwhelmed. And you wonder, what happened to my peace? It wasn't lack of desire. It was the quiet pull of a routine built on autopilot. You wake up and check your phone, jump from task to task without pause, eat in a rush, ignore what you're feeling. And without realizing it, your day carries you instead of you carrying your day. We think peace comes from willpower, but real peace is built through practice, through repetition, through tiny choices that no one sees. The Stoics knew this. They practiced daily reflection morning and night. They trained the mind, just like we train the body. Because the mind is shaped by what we do consistently. Your routine is not neutral. It's either strengthening your calm or silently sabotaging it. So start small. 5 minutes of silence before the world touches you. A slow walk, no headphones, no distraction. One deep breath before every important choice. Don't underestimate the power of the simple. It's not about perfect days. It's about consistent practices, the quiet disciplines, the rituals that hold you steady when life does not. Because one day, when chaos shows up at your door, you'll notice something. You'll pause, you'll breathe, you'll respond differently. And in that moment, you'll realize, it wasn't luck. It was your practice. It was your care. It was your quiet choice, repeated day after day. Lesson 9. Your mind needs silence more than it needs answers. Some days, all you want is clarity. You ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Why can't I sleep? Why does everything make me anxious? So you search, revisit old memories, analyze every word, every look, every possibility. But instead of peace, you find more noise. Because sometimes you don't need to understand more, you need to think less. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, perfect tranquility is the order of the mind. Not knowing everything, but becoming its master. But we live in an age of overthinking, of endless searching, of noise disguised as growth. We forget the quiet power of inner stillness, the moment you decide not to feed another thought that goes nowhere. Imagine your mind as a lake. If you keep throwing stones, you'll never see the bottom. But if you wait, if you let the water settle, clarity returns on its own. Peace doesn't arrive when you've solved every problem. It arrives when you stop letting every thought become a problem. And that starts with stillness, with watching your thoughts instead of chasing them. Sit, even if your mind screams, watch, even if the thoughts are loud. Feel, even if the emotion makes no sense, not to fix, but to witness, to breathe, to release. Maybe you won't get it right on the first try, or the second, but if you make space for silence day by day, your mind will slowly stop fighting everything. And when it does, you won't find all the answers. You'll find something better. Calm. Lesson 10. Make peace your decision, not your reward. We often treat peace like it's something we'll find at the end of the road. Once we've done enough, healed enough, fixed enough, achieved enough, maybe then, we'll feel calm. But peace is not a trophy you earn after winning the battle. It's a choice you make right in the middle of the storm. Even when you're tired, even when things don't make sense, even when you're scared, sad, angry, uncertain. Peace isn't the absence of chaos, it's the refusal to be ruled by it. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to solve every fear. You don't need to have a perfect day to feel grounded in this one. You just need to decide, I will not abandon myself today. Peace shows up in the pause before you speak, in the deep breath when anger rises, in the gentle no that sets a boundary. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it is powerful. And like any strength, it grows with practice. Some days you'll feel it fully, some days you'll struggle to find it. But every time you return to it, you're reminding yourself, you don't need the world to be still for your soul to be steady. Peace is not for the perfect, it's for the present. It's for those who fall and still choose to rise gently. It's for those who feel everything and still choose not to be consumed. So from this moment on, let peace be your starting point, not your finish line. Let it live in how you talk to yourself, how you respond to life, how you care, how you breathe, how you carry yourself, especially when no one else is watching. Because peace was never out there. It was always in you, waiting to be remembered, waiting to be practiced, waiting to be chosen again and again. That's the final lesson, and perhaps the first one worth living. If something in this video stirred something in you, even just a little, then hold on to that feeling, not to chase more content, but to walk back into your life a little softer, a little stronger, a little more present. Because peace is not built in grand moments. It's built in how you show up when no one's watching. And if you're on a journey to live with more intention, to think more clearly, to feel more deeply, you're not alone. This space was created for that. Each week, we share quiet tools for building strength from the inside out. If that speaks to you, subscribe, not for the algorithm, but for yourself, so you can keep returning to what truly matters. Until next time, stay steady, stay soft, and keep choosing peace.